Hey guys, it's Alex. I'm coming to you today with an update about, and I guess it's a personal update and also just like an update about work. I really wanted to make a video while I was working, but it has been very busy and I've been using my breaks to kind of like get charting done and stuff like that. And so it's been hard to, pull out the camera and walk around and sort of do that while at work. And so I am doing it here on my day off at home. I guess the biggest thing right now for me is that the most like glaring feeling at the moment is that this is just dragging on. It just like this just keeps, it feels like I don't know when the end is in sight and no one really does. And that is, I think, one of the hardest things. We don't know, when we're going to start seeing a sort of end and how long we're going to be treating these patients and et cetera, et cetera. And so that is a very hard feeling to deal with. The situation at the hospital right now, because it has been going on for so long, we're starting to have to kind of make concessions for the fact that, we can't support this situation forever, and we're needing so much PPE. And so, we've moved from using the disposable gowns back to our regular reusable gowns. Because we're just going through so much disposable gowns, and that's fine. But also, we're also still having to ration equipment, ration masks, because we can't afford to be going through so many masks. So, you wear your surgical mask for the first 4 hours of your shift, and then you throw it out and you wear another one for the second 4 hours. And I'm pretty sure that that's a pretty common practice. A lot of my friends say that they're doing similar things at their hospitals. So we're all kind of in the same boat in terms of having to hang on to equipment and be really careful about how much we use. The staffing situation is also changing, meaning that before we kind of we had more staff to deal with the COVID patients, and because it was new and it was, and we were all not sure exactly what we were dealing with. So we had extra staff to deal with the situation. And now that we've kind of settled in to the situation, we have a little bit less staff. So they cut some of the staff, to deal with it. And we are having to see almost as many patients. So generally speaking, during the day, you would take care of 5 patients per one nurse. And with the COVID patients, it's 4 or 5 per one nurse. So you could be anywhere between 3 to 5 patients with your COVID, with the COVID side. So it's definitely more than before. It was like 2 or 3 before, and now they've increased it because everyone's kind of getting used to it, and we can't continue to support like that many staff for an extended unknown period of time. So that's challenging because it takes a lot of extra time to don and doff the equipment, and it's just extra tiring. And also, if you think about it, like just like to play out a scenario, like you go into the room, you're wearing the equipment, you take your patient's blood sugar. Now you find out that you need to give them insulin, but you're dressed in all your equipment. And now you need to undress, go prepare your insulin, dress up again, go back into the room, give the insulin, and then undress again. And everything has to be done properly, or else of course you risk contaminating yourself or the patient. So the whole process of just giving one medication could be like a 20-minute process or longer, depending on how fast you are. And so it is very time consuming and tiring because things that normally are like a 5-minute thing are becoming long 20-minute thing. And so it kind of just draws out your whole day. And we're having to become quite creative in the way that we do things because of this as well. And I think that one of the hard things, just like mentally and emotionally, is not really knowing when this is all going to conclude, and like how things are going to be afterwards. Like, are things ever going to go back to normal? Are we always going to have these patients? Will there always need to be a unit where we treat them? Like, how is this going to be? We just don't know right now. And that is emotionally and mentally difficult, I think. Some of the more personal challenges for me are definitely related to not really knowing when this is gonna end, because for healthcare workers, and this may not be something that people realize, but when things go back to normal, as long as we're still treating these patients, we're obviously at higher risk of exposure. And so, for example, like if people are allowed to see their families again, I may not be seeing my family because I may still be exposed. And so I probably won't see my family because I don't want to take that risk until I know that I probably haven't been exposed for a good period of time. And so that is hard for me because I don't know when that's going to be. Like, even if things are getting much better, how long are we still going to be treating these patients? We just don't know. And so that is a difficult thought. And then other things that are like maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit less serious, but still bothersome, are like not being able to plan. And I'm a big planner, and so I love to know what's going on in my life. And I was planning to start university courses in the fall, in September. And now that plan is not ruined, but it's delayed because I was supposed to write the OIQ exam in March. And I was all ready to write it. I had been studying for like 3 months for this exam, and I was like a week away from writing it. So I was really prepared, and the exam was postponed for obvious reasons. And now the exam is going to be postponed until September. And because you need to be a licensed nurse to do your university courses, online anyways, which is what I was planning to do, I can't apply over the summer. And so I won't be able to start my university courses in September like I planned. So I'm pretty disappointed about that because it just kind of like throws off a lot of the plans that I had, and it means that I'm gonna be starting those courses later than I had anticipated. And yeah, I guess that's just hard for me. And I'm a person that, like, one of the ways that I cope, and like one of my coping mechanisms, is to kind of look ahead and to say, like, this is hard right now, and this is maybe a bit even unmanageable, but you know what, it's okay, because in 2 weeks, like, you have this event coming up and it's going to be really fun, and you're gonna forget all about this moment. And that is like a major coping mechanism for me. And I can't really even like use that right now because I don't know. Like, everything is canceled for the foreseeable future, and there's not really anything going on. And so it's very hard to have nothing to hold on to, and to kind of have to look forward to smaller things. So I'm coping with that by like planning movie nights over FaceTime and phone conversations with people, and you know, FaceTime conversations with multiple friends and things like that, so that I have at least those things to look forward to. But it is really exceedingly hard to not have that to hang on to right now, because that is, like I said, like one of the main ways that I cope. So I'm definitely struggling in that sense. But I think that everybody is probably feeling similar or having struggles of the same kind of, like of the same vibe because of this whole thing. So I think people understand what I'm talking about. And I also wanted to kind of like address a question that I have been getting a lot lately. I think probably like at least 3 or 4 people have asked me this, which I understand why. And the question is, do I regret being a nurse, or becoming a nurse because of this pandemic? Since I'm a new nurse and this is basically the start of my career, do I regret becoming a nurse? And I think the answer is definitely no. I have moments. I would be lying if I said I didn't have moments where I was like, give me strength. Because sometimes it feels impossible to get through your day, and you wonder like how you can, or how you're going to, or how it's going to be possible. And so yes, there are moments where I question my life choices. Absolutely. I would be lying if I said that there weren't, but I don't regret it at all, because there are also so many beautiful moments as well. And I really live for those. And this is, again, I know I'm sort of beating a dead horse here, but like, the moments that I get to like hold people's hands and talk to them and, you know, feed them their dinner and comfort them and get to know them, those are the moments that make me happy. Like, that's why I became a nurse, so that I could do proper assessments, that I could look after people, that I could make sure that people are okay, that I could comfort people, that I could be there in their darkest hour. Like, that is exactly why I became a nurse. I didn't become a nurse so that I could run around like a chicken with my head cut off and throw medications at people. Like, no, that's not mine. And so that's why the patient to nurse ratio is so important to me, because the more time that we have with patients, the better that we can be, and the more that we have so that we can hold people's hands, that we can talk to them, that we can give. And that is an essential part of nursing, giving care, providing comfort, being empathetic. Like, we spend like so much time in nursing school talking about sitting with patients. Like, we literally learn like how to be an empathetic and caring nurse. You know, you hold their hand, you lean in, you talk to them, you make eye contact, all of this stuff. But the amount of time that we have to do that is so little, if none at all. And that's just unacceptable, because it shows that we don't value that as a part of healing, when the truth is that that's an essential part of healing. And actually, human contact is just as important as medicine. It's just as important as medication. It is a type of medicine. And so it makes me crazy when I feel like I don't even have time to have a conversation and make contact with my patient and talk to them, when I know that that is what they need ultimately. Like, it just, so those are the things that get me, and those are the things that make me question. But it's not the job itself, because what the job is, the description of nursing, is exactly what I want to be. It's exactly where I want to be. The challenges, the bureaucratic challenges, they're annoying, but every job has that. It's frustrating for sure, but it's exactly what I want. It's just frustrating that the aspects of it that make it beautiful are often kind of stripped away. So yeah, I think that's all that I have for today. and I will try to keep these updates somewhat regularly, like every week, every couple of weeks. And I hope everybody's out there is doing well, and all my nursing buddies are hanging in there.